Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The last two undefeated teams in the Big 12 will meet this Saturday as number 8, Oklahoma State, takes on number 13, TCU. And guys, who would have thought that back in the preseason, this game would be a top 15 matchup? This game would have major Big 12 title implications, and that this game would have major playoff implications, as the winner of this will more than likely become the Big 12's best chance to get a team into the playoff. So today, guys, we are here to break down everything you need to know for this game in Fort Worth, and of course, answer the big question, who will win this game between two Big 12 powers? So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're very happy you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Guys, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. Beating out over 80% of the national analysts, hitting over 60% of our bets this year, hitting over 82% on the money line. You're not going to find anything better. We want you to become a part of our team, guys. Become a part of our GE Nation and sign up for those expert picks today. Again, only on thegridironexpert.com. So, all right, let's dive into this game, guys. But first, a little bit of history. You know, TCU joined the Big 12 about a decade ago, and the Horned Frogs are just 4-6 against Oklahoma State since joining the Big 12. But TCU has won 3 of the 4 meetings against the Cowboys in Fort Worth. Home field advantage definitely means something when it comes to TCU. Will they be able to defend their home turf this Saturday? Well, you take a look at the offense, guys, and we'll start with Oklahoma State. They've got a good one. They're averaging 46.4 points per game and 310 passing yards per game. I mean, Spencer Sanders has been phenomenal for the Cowboys this season. You know, everybody was worried about the losses on offense for Oklahoma State, worried about some loss at the skill positions. How are they going to be able to replace those? Well, they've done just fine. Spencer Sanders has been doing just fine. Arguably the best start to a season he's had at Oklahoma State. Over 1,300 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Also has 241 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. So 18 total touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Taking great care of the football, which is something that in recent years has been a major issue for him. But you look at the guys surrounding him, the guys that are making him look good. The wide receiver core is extremely underrated. A guy like Braden Johnson has 360 yards and 3 touchdowns this year. Brennan Presley has stepped up, 314 yards so far this year. These two guys are leading the wide receiver core, are giving Spencer Sanders some weapons to use, and they just continue to get better every single week. And you look at TCU, guys, their offense is relatively similar. They love to air it out. They've got a lot of balance. They're very fast, and they can score. 46.4 points per game also for TCU. Funny how they're the exact same numbers, but the Horned Frogs averaging 530 total yards per game. No one has been able to stop Sonny Dykes' offense. They ran over Oklahoma a few weeks ago. They dropped 38 points on Kansas, and Kansas never had an answer for them offensively. The game was close, back and forth, but Kansas could never get a stop. The Horned Frogs, guys, averaging nearly 300 passing yards per game and 230 rushing yards per game. That is the key number there. That balance and that ability to be able to run the ball effectively is what has separated TCU from so many other teams, especially within the conference. But ultimately, guys, what it starts for with the Horned Frogs is their quarterback, Max Duggan. He's thrown for over 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns to just 1 interception. So like Sanders, he's taking great care of the football. Also has over 200 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the year. He's got a lot of surrounding talent too. The big name, Quentin Johnston. The guy that last week against Kansas had 206 reception yards on the year, has 320. So we had 114 reception yards going into that game. Now has 320, had 206 against Kansas. But you've also got a guy like Kendra Miller as well, the running back, who has 474 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Again, TCU, with their balance and their speed, they can beat you on all aspects of the game. They've got a quarterback that has a phenomenal arm, but a quarterback that can run. They've got a very speedy running back. And they've got a wide receiver core, again, led by Johnston, that can go up and get those 50-50 balls and just makes them so difficult to stop week in and week out. So now the question is, can Oklahoma State defensively stop the Horned Frogs? Can they slow down TCU. And I would say right now they can't. Look at the numbers, guys. Oklahoma State is giving up 304 passing yards per game. They have one of the worst secondaries in the nation right now. Last week against Texas Tech, they allowed 379 passing yards to the Red Raiders. That was a game that Oklahoma State was losing. They were trailing that game late in the third quarter before waking up and winning by 10. They allowed 345 passing yards to Baylor the week before that. They allowed 424 passing yards to Central Michigan in the season opener. Yes, I know that was a game they were winning convincingly, but allowed Central Michigan to come back in. Got to play a full 60 minutes. 424 passing yards to the Chippewas. They've also only forced 4 interceptions, so they're not creating many takeaways. They're not creating much pressure on the quarterback, and that's an issue. If you allow a quarterback like Max Duggan to sit there in the pocket all day, he's going to deliver. And even if you do pressure him a little bit, he can escape the pocket. He can extend the plays, and he can run with his legs. So the key for Oklahoma State here, guys, ultimately, is to obviously shut down the pass and to keep Max Duggan in the pocket. TCU can run, for sure. But if you force Miller to do it all by himself, you don't allow Max Duggan to get anything going with his legs, it could be a longer day for TCU than they want it to be. They want to be multi-dimensional. They want to be able to beat you in all aspects, through the air, on the ground. Oklahoma State has to limit that. They have to be able to shut down the pass, have their best game of the year as a secondary, contain Duggan to the pocket, and force TCU to try to win the game mostly on the ground. This Oklahoma State defense, guys, is not the same defense that we saw last year. Lost a lot of key players, lost their defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles, and that has shown through this first half of the season. When you look at TCU, their defense, not phenomenal, but statistically maybe a little bit better than Oklahoma State. They're giving up over 400 yards per game, and through the air, not great either, allowing 268.8 passing yards per game. So their secondary, a little bit vulnerable as well. Gave up 351 passing yards to Kansas, the majority of those actually coming to their backup quarterback in Jason Bean. They gave up 372 passing yards to Tanner Mordecai and SMU. So the two better offenses they have faced so far this year, TCU has struggled against the pass. I mean, yeah, they beat Colorado. That doesn't say much. They beat Tarleton. That doesn't say much. So the two better teams they have faced, they have not been great against the pass. So Spencer Sanders absolutely could and will exploit that on Saturday. Even last, when they played Oklahoma, guys, I'll even say that when they played Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel got hurt about midway through the second quarter, but in less than a quarter and a half, Gabriel already had 126 passing yards. So had he stayed healthy, Oklahoma still would have lost that game, but easily Gabriel would have finished with over 300 passing yards, no doubt about it. So they've got to be able to find a way to shut down Spencer Sanders and these wide receivers. They have to find a way to limit the passing game and force Oklahoma State to win the game on the ground. Obviously a ground game that is solid, but nowhere near what it has been in years past. Obviously, Joe Gillespie, his defense, 3-3-5 defense, has been up and down, but it is strong. They do have some talent, and obviously, if they can just get 1 or 2 interceptions off of Spencer Sanders, a guy who I feel is due for a poor game. He's played so well, but historically speaking, he is due for a game where he's going to commit a turnover or two that TCU, of course, will convert into points. They do that, and Oklahoma State finds themselves trailing by double digits or something like that in this game early. It's going to be very hard to come back with the home crowd on TCU's side. So you take a look at this game, guys. I mean, if you love offense, this is the game for you. Neither team has a phenomenal defense. Both teams have phenomenal offenses. The stakes are extremely high. It's an unexpected top 15 matchup. And obviously, this is huge for the Big 12 playoff hopes. Obviously, this could be the first of 2 meetings. Oklahoma State and TCU could meet again in December in the Big 12 championship game. But this is huge for both teams in trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. And guys, like I mentioned, this is a game where both quarterbacks should have a phenomenal day. A phenomenal day. Both quarterbacks will have a great day. So it's going to come down to one of two things. Either one, which quarterback makes the mistake first, or two, which ground game can pick up the slack. Which offense can stay multi-dimensional, can keep the other team's defense on their toes where they will not completely sell out against the pass or completely sell out against the run. And ultimately, to me, guys, the team that's going to be able to do that is TCU. Now, I believe Max Duggan is going to take better care of the football than Spencer Sanders. I believe TCU is going to be able to remain multidimensional, more so than Oklahoma State in this game. Factor in that TCU has home field advantage here. They are riding a high. They have not had a letdown game. They just continue to be getting better and better. They have home field advantage on their side. They've won 3 of the last 4 against Oklahoma State in Fort Worth. I love TCU in this spot. And I think the Horned Frogs pull off the upset. And their offense will not be off the field that often. Oklahoma State will struggle to get stops in this game. And the Horned Frogs, by the end of Saturday, will be 6-0, will be a top 10 team, will be on top of the Big 12, and will be the Big 12's best shot to make the college football playoffs, just like we all predicted back in the preseason. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. We want you to sign up for those today, guys. Some of the best picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national analysts. Go check it out. Become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.